What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Sheehan Show here on Sherdog.com. My name is Sean Sheehan, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Caolan Loughran after his UFC debut at UFC Paris last week. Caolan, obviously, you know, we had it booked in to come on, and like, you know, you had the Yanis Ghemmouri fight. You were thinking, do you know what? We'll have a bit of a celebration here, and obviously a lot of things changed since then. You didn't win the fight, but fair play to you. You came on and you wanted to speak anyway, and I really, really appreciate that. How are you feeling now about a week out from the fight? I suppose it was a tough fight. You performed very well. Obviously, didn't get the win in the end, but how are you feeling now? A few days out from
it. Shite, lads. As well. I can't. It's like, well, actually, better today is it's the Thursday now. Bruising starting to clear up. Ribs are very bruised, whatever the fuck it is, but it kind of just comes and goes for me. I don't know. I've lost before. Like, I never, it's not the first time feeling like this. People saying me about being undefeated and stuff is I'd never felt undefeated. I always play that. I'll actually probably post it. Like, even in the build up this, I was asked about being undefeated. I was like, I never felt undefeated. I never bought into that. But it kind of comes and goes. Like, fucking last night, me and my mate went and sat and drank fucking 12 pints. So it was a good crack there. But like, sometimes it just comes and goes. You know what I mean? Sometimes it just hits you, and you fuck, is what it is, lad. It's absolutely shite. There's no two ways about it. But what am I going to do? Sit and feel sorry for myself? You know?
That's it. Like, it must be such. Obviously, it was the biggest moment of your career. Now, look, it's still a young career as well. We must say that at the start. But from the massive high until the massive low, that must be tough just to deal with that movement and fucking temperature, I suppose. Like,
it's just I done a lot of living last week. Let me tell you, it was mad. From the Monday night packing to go, thinking fighting Yanis Ghemmouri, to the Saturday losing to Taylor Lapilus, and now being home, it's like, see this sport, like, it just makes you nuts. Like, how could you be normal if you're going through all that? You know what I mean? It's fucking mental. But I don't regret it, or I'm not. It's part of my journey now. That's it. That's it. It's part of your journey. It's what you do after type thing, isn't it? But I was. See, like, the high of a win is not even like remotely close to the low of a loss in the sport. It's almost just like oh, thank fuck I didn't lose. Almost sometimes like a couple of months, like the month after a fight and stuff, you're like walking around on a high, like it's good, but like the initial feeling's never like, yes, for me it never is since I have lost in amateurs. It's like thank God I didn't lose more than do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Let's go back to, I suppose, the start of it, travelling over there and expecting to fight Yanis Ghemmouri. How quick did you get the call once you, I suppose, got to Paris that fight actually wasn't going to happen?
Monday night at about 10 p.m, me and my woman were packing my bags because I was getting up at 5 a.m. to go fight Yanis. And I still had like paperwork to come through, nice, because it was absolute bollock. Signing it took me about 9 weeks to sign with the UFC with all the papers. I could never get through them, but I had loads still to do on fight week. And my coach was coming. So then I had a phone call at 11 o'clock on the Monday night, and I was like, "Oh fuck, it's gonna be something to do with these papers." And he goes, "We have a problem here." I was like, "What? What is it?" He's like, "This cunt can't make weight." I was like, "Are you fucking serious?" And then as I'm doing that, he says they want us to fight Taylor Lapilus. Honest to God, I didn't know who Taylor Lapilus was. I should have, because I know most of the European bantamweights, the top guys. I should have known him. Didn't know who he was. And I was like, holy fuck, that's shite. And just hung up and seen what happened. And then at about 11, or about half 11 then that night, all flights out of the UK were cancelled. There was some traffic backlog. I was like, what is going on here, boys? So we stopped packing. Didn't fly in. I missed the check-in day on Tuesday. These aren't excuses, but this man just beat me at MMA. It's nothing to do. Just this what happened. Went to the gym then Tuesday morning when I should have been in Paris, fucking checking in. got to Paris then at about, I don't know, 12 o'clock. But then when I got to the gym, I found out, confirmed I was fighting Taylor Lapilus then. That's the UFC one do. I knew as soon as that was brought up that was going to happen, because William Gomez's fight fell through, Taylor Lapilus's fight fell through. They weren't going to go bring someone in when there was two guys in both weight classes. Like, it only made sense to be fought. Like, I knew that was going to happen. Found that out then Tuesday morning, trained in Caolan, and we got to Paris then at 12 o'clock Tuesday night, and then that was it. The fight was on, basically.
What were your initial thoughts, I suppose, on Yanis? Like, this wasn't a short notice fight, really, was it? You've had a good few weeks' notice, and the fact that, like,
Joke.
5 days out from the fight, he can't make weight?
An absolute joke. Who, like, in my eyes, like, if I'm ringing Sean Shelby, say I can't make weight, it's like, right, he's going to tell me to go fuck myself. It's my debut. Like, do you know what I mean? I'd never make. I think it'd been better for him to miss weight nearly than to do that. Well, I don't know, but whatever. And I met him then when I must have been the Wednesday morning. There's a girl, Neve, part of the UFC, Neve Moran. We were like in the fighter hotel, and I walked up, and I was like, oh my God, there's Ghemmouri. I was like, I'm going to go fuck this. She goes, we're not going to do this now. We're not going to do this now. I was like, I am going up to this kind of thing. I say, what the fuck? I up and I pushed him. I was like, what the fuck? Why are we fighting? Why are we fighting? And then it kind of clicked on me. I looked at the size of the bastard, and I cut a lot of weight for 135. I looked at him, and I goes, and he didn't speak a lick of English. He's going like, blah, 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 as if they didn't know what the fuck happened. He didn't speak a lick of English. I looked at him and was like, why did you even take a fight at bantamweight? Actually, lad, you're clean massive. Obviously, you weren't making 135 pounds. Like, why did you even accept that fight? But then I was just very much like, fuck it. Let's watch Taylor, switch to him now type thing. Forget about that guy, you know what I mean?
Obviously, like, your coaches and stuff might have known a bit of Taylor Lapilus. Like, was there any even discussion about that? We'll get into maybe what you did to prepare for it in a second, but was there any discussion about the fight where you're just like, okay, I have another name, I'm taking that fight immediately?
Well, Colin literally knows everybody on the scene. Like, he literally knows everybody. He goes, they want me to fight Lapilus. I goes, don't know him. Over the phone, he goes, you do. He was been about the scene just after beating Wilson Hayes a few years ago and stuff. It's like, you'll know him. And we tried for a catch race, Colin, and man, as soon as I watched him, I was like, that's shit. That's not too about that. So we were like, prepared for this guy, completely different style. Someone that the bookies have me is like 1 to 3 favourite as. Now you want me to go fucking jump in with a 24-fight vet who weirdly got released or whatever from the UFC. I don't know what the fuck the story was there in the UFC. But I was like, I thought I could beat him. I still do believe beat him, but I was like, that is shite. There's no two ways about it. Like, that is shite. So we tried for a catch up, but I knew the UFC were going to do that. Like, do you know what I mean? But like Shelby and all was very thankful, even after the fight. Like, thanks for taking that basically and all this year. But
what can you actually do to prepare for someone in that short notice? Like, I saw there yesterday, there was lads preparing for the upcoming Bellator card here, and we're 22 days out from it or something, and they're like, final sparring session type of thing, we're kind of cooling off now and we're going to that card. Like, I imagine you were kind of the same, and here you are 4 days before the fight, you've a completely new opponent. Obviously you can't spar for him, you can't do that much, but like, is there anything you did do, is there anything you could do to prepare for him in that short of notice?
Yeah, well, I got one session in on the Tuesday morning. There's some really, really high level strikers in our gym, and they just stood southpaw, and I just drilled a wee bit on them. And then after that, it became, I'm actually usually good at fighting southpaw, so then it just became like pads. So we're calling really just drilling pads of what shots that would land, and it was very much trying to get a hold of them. Was the plan. Just really good at defend turns.
It must be so hard, like, because look, I watched a good bit of Taylor Lapilus, and I got a text from someone like who'd be big in kind of the UK and European scene, and goes, what have they done to Caolan here? Like, this is a completely different matchup against a much better guy. Like, as you said, I think he was 3-1 when he was released from UFC.
He won his last one.
Yeah, it was something. It was a contractual thing, I think, or something like that. He would never have been released other than that. And like, this guy is like, if he was probably said in the UFC, he might be ranked and also, like, it's a really, really tough fight against an opponent who's long and rangy. And for, like, I was talking about you the other day, like, so, like, you have, 9 fights in now, but it's, you know, the first 2 fights, we've talked about them before, you can kind of write them off. You're really only like 5 or 6 competitive fights into your career, and you're fighting a guy who could really be ranked in the UFC. Like, and I honestly, do you know, here as well, I don't know if you maybe thought this afterwards or anything, but a lot of people don't even realize realise that it was a short notice fight. Like, some people just turn up on a Saturday night, watch the UFC, and these two lads are fighting. Like, that must there must be a bit of frustration there that people maybe don't realise the task you were actually given on such short notice.
It's just a bastard of a game, lad. What can you do? It's a fucking bastard of a game. He took it too. Like, it's not. I can't complain. Like, he took it late notice as well. But no, lads, they beat me. So that's it. They beat me.
We'll talk more about the fight in a second, but maybe some of the funner parts of the week, the French fans and the whole madness around it. Like, it's funny because, like, most fighters, you know, they're 15 fights into their UFC career and people still are like, oh yeah, I kind of remember him. But it feels like before you even had your debut, people were kind of already knowing about you and talking about you, and the reception that you got when you came out was probably the loudest of any fighter, maybe still Gagne even included. How was that like? Like, you obviously love that. Like, a lot of people wouldn't like getting booed, but you seem to enjoy it.
My goal on the week of the fight was I was going to get the biggest boos ever of a debuting fighter. That was my goal, and I actually think I actually might have done that. But not the way is because I was saying, like, the whole way up, like, the part I'm just going to take in the weigh-ins, like, because you're not actually competing. You're not doing anything. Like, the ceremonial weigh-ins. I watched the French show last year, seen that their fans were lively and, like, the crowd was amazing. I was like, I'm just going to take it in, and then I play off like energy. Nothing's ever fake. Like, I don't even this. Like, just whatever way you're feeling. And I go French MMA shade to rile up. And then I was like backstage behind the curtain, and there was kind of shitty reactions to most people. I was like, oh, fuck, I thought they'd be way more like against the French. Like, whoever's fighting against French gave it a way bigger reception. And then my name to it, and they all got up and started booing. I was like, holy fuck. I went out on the stage. I just looked at them and just danced like, fuck it. I gave his fingers and riled them up even more. But it's all part of the show, lad. I blew up that way, but it would have been nice to get the win after. But here, fucking, I was lad was the best. It's not the best, worst is it? It's probably still, it's the best week of my life. I'd say best moment of my life still. Like, I know, and as like a winner, and as I am a fucking winner. I've won the whole way up. But they even say that is like hard, but it was still the best moment of my life so far, like, definitely.
Yeah, and look, I don't think people look unfavourably in terms of the fight and stuff. Obviously, we'll talk about that in a second, but the walkout then, like, to kind of talk about the fans booing even more. I don't know, obviously you'll know, but watching at home, it felt like they forgot to put on your music and it didn't come on till later. Or was it just really low, or did the fans just boo over it? What happened there?
No. So the guy was behind it, and the guy goes, you might not hear your walkout, but whenever we say walk, you have to walk. I was like, what? And then they didn't play it, and then it came out, and then there's my dog. It came out, and then the UFC put up letting the fans do the noise for him as if it was like a Mike Tyson, which was actually the coolest thing ever. So I actually now kind of wish that I hadn't done that, like, not put on, like just let the booze, but that was not part of the, I did not know what happened there. Like, I almost feel like it's a bit of a stitch up. Like, the UFC gets about £1 million a show for their fucking production. How could the sound go? How could the sound go? Like, but no, they didn't play it until I got to the cage, and then it was meant to be Dreams, the Cranberries, same as the Rome show. And it was going to turn into Celtic Symphony, but then the end of it just got Celtic Symphony, so it was alright, fuck it. It was just the boos were nuts. And then somebody goes to me, the crowd affected you. I was like, lad, are you serious? What are you talking about? I actually think I need to, I don't know what, because it's weird. I don't know if I'm like it's almost like it nearly does nothing for it. Like, there's 20,000 people directed at you, giving you the finger, and it's like, it doesn't even, like, I'm sitting here right now, it's weird.
Like, I don't think it really affected the performance or anything. I don't think anyone watching would think that at all. Like, maybe it helped even a little bit. Before we get into the performance, I just want to ask about Belal Muhammad, because yourself and Belal had a bit of a tiff there online, and like you pop back at him, and a few things were exchanged. What's the crack with Belal? Where did that beef come from?
He's trying to save face because I embarrassed him. Belal Muhammad followed me on Twitter in the week of the fight, and I just Well, that man's an idiot. Like I just quote tweeted it and goes, "Tell you who I'm not following back," and add Belal, and then he was really embarrassed because I think it was me. He's like, "Oh shit, I thought you were Callum Walsh or something." He said, and then I realised you're a nobody. Just as like, well, you obviously didn't think of Callum Walsh. You just followed me, and now you're embarrassed. He literally lost his debut, and he got knocked clean out in his third fight. Like it's part of the sport, but. Here he's in the top 3 or top 4, whatever it is. I'm just a 0-1 loser, so I can't say much to him now.
God, don't be that negative. You're not Jesus. You'll be back. The fight itself, though, right? I was very interested in the fight because it's almost what we talk about when we analyze these fights and look at them very much from like a guy who's maybe the smaller wrestler against the taller, longer striker, and how that battle can kind of be won. We see it in MMA all the time, and like it was a very close fight when you actually think about it. Because like if you think the first round, you took the second round and he took the first and the third, but like. At the third round especially, it was a little bit scrappy, and let's say if you got a takedown and got maybe a minute of ground and pound, you could have won that fight 29-28 pretty easily. So obviously the game plan was to win and wrestle, but how tough is it to like continuously wrestle all the time, like knowing that is your way to win, knowing that is like the not the only hope, because like you're a good striker, you could hit him as well, but like to consistently stay to that game plan, that must be so tough to do that.
I should have struck more with him. I should have kicked more. I basically played his game. So did I boxed that range with him and then dove at takedowns. I played his game. Should have touched him with the legs more. Should have kicked more and then I've set up on takedowns. But I was very fit. I knew I could keep wrestling for 50. I had done a lot of like Shark Tank around the aggressor, trying to take guys down in the camp. It's just experience. It's like, Sean, like you can't buy it. Like it was wee things that he was doing that I have taken. Like first of all, the crowd and all that didn't affect him. He was very, very relaxed. He was very relaxed. He nothing really affected him that way. And then just wee things he would do would be like 2 jabs, circle out. I'd half chase him a wee bit, then I would half dive a takedown. He would control the rest. Really, really, really wide, like base. Really hard to lock hands on him. And then the way Leon would do to Usman, he would like control my wrist. So he won the first, and then we'd separate. I wouldn't get the takedown. Boom, 2 jabs again. I'd be like, "Fuck you, bastard!" And I could feel this was almost going away from me. And then we came out the second round, and I got him down. And it's like, I'd usually be so systematic where I would progress to the mount of the back, and I got that there, and I was like, then I half got the back, but I was like diving, I was like, oh, get the back, and the next thing I'm falling off. I'm like, why the fuck did I do that? But then I was like, in the mount again, he's holding my wrist, and he's like, I'm almost like, I can't get too much ground and pound off on him. He isn't turning to get up. He's not even panicking there. He's not giving me the back. He's being relaxed. He's being experienced. We're back up. Come out the third round, and I'm like now it's 1-1 again into the third, and I'm thinking I can get him down now. He's very tired. I have him. I was easy enough takedown. I'll get this third round. I've got this fight won. I come out the third. I dive a takedown. Just crap. Absolutely crap, right? He hits 2 or 3 jabs back in. He controls my wrist. He's racked. I can feel him breathing so heavily, but he's controlling my wrist, so I can't even disengage. My thing is I'll pop back out, hit 2 punches, dive back in, but he's holding my wrist. Wouldn't allow me to get away from him, get his breath, come back out, hit 2 jabs. I'm then in the cage as he's experienced and just being relaxed again. I'm thinking this is going away from me, so I'm thinking I'm like getting like desperate with my takedowns, looking poor, very, very, very annoying. I haven't watched his back, but I can't, but I know this will happen. I'm like thinking in my head this is going away from me now, so I'm like diving, takedowns. Again, he's getting his breath, controlling my wrist, hitting 2 jabs, going back out, just doing enough to win, and just doing that, just being more experienced. Like I just in my probably inexperience and desperation showing through, where and then I knew he had it. Then you know what I mean. That's the game. Just being where I'm usually calm, but like just some guys, you do something just nothing phases them, and that's just being a fucking veteran, isn't it?
It's funny, I actually did a podcast yesterday talking about experience and kind of use your fight as an example. But like it's almost it's you I think what you did in that fight showed actually you have a level above your experience level, but still, there's still only so far you can get. 5 or 6 fights into your career, basically. And I want to ask you about, so there's 2 things I want to ask you about first, and I'll ask you about the last part first. Say the last 90 seconds of the fight. When
that's what won it.
Yeah, so the whole game plan was to take him down, and in the last 90 seconds, it wasn't that you didn't try to take him down, but did you feel like, okay, the takedown's not working here, I'm going to have to strike with him and try to win it that way? And do you think, like, looking back on it, do you think that was a mistake?
The way I was diving at takedowns, I didn't think I don't know, I even knew as it was happening, I was shit, like, but I just thought, fuck it, I can touch him a few times, maybe I can rob the round, but I probably wasn't thinking. It's probably the answer to that, to be honest. It
must be so hard, like, you know, in that situation.
Ah, shit. Like, it's a shit hard out there. But glad it's here. I was watching boys this morning, like Dan Hooker was in 3-3 in the UFC, Dustin Poirier came up, losses in the UFC, Charles Oliveira. It's plenty. I'm not the first man out here, lad. As I say, I'm a competitor, I'm a winner, but it's hard to say, but it's probably not going to be my last loss, or being realistic. Like, I'm going to be in this UFC for the next 6-7 years. Probably going to lose again at some stage, but I took so much from Taylor Lapilus, and in a way, then you probably have to be thankful the whole thing, don't you? Like, that's the game, essentially. He is good at what he does. I know I can beat him, but I'll not be fighting the bastard in fucking 4 days, tell you that much. But I took a lot from him now, and that's the game, lad, isn't it? That's the fucking game.
Like, I suppose the experience level as well is fighting body types and fighting styles, and like
he's a 73-inch reach for bantamweight. Yeah. The fuck? That's a 73-inch reach for bantamweight. The fucker's arms hit me from the back end like a cage.
I actually don't know if there's anyone else really like him, to be honest, at the way. Like, even if you look at the very top, like O'Malley, even, you know, he's a longer guy, and I don't think he necessarily even fights that way type of thing. But at least that's kind of in the back pocket now, and it's something, you know, like it's not something you want to face before if you have to face it again type of thing. So that must be invaluable.
It's not even the range, it's just those subtle things you do, and that's what I've took from it anyway. I can't wait to fight. I can't wait to train again. I can't wait to even just shadow box again. But I'm like holding myself back to get my bruises go. I almost feel like I don't want to give him too much respect, but I feel like I grew up a lot in 15 minutes. If that makes sense. I don't know, but I do. Sometimes the defeat's good, isn't it? Always the defeat's good in the gym, obviously, but let's just doesn't make it easier, lads. This is it. This is the fucking sport. But here you face it like a man, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. But sure, look, we spoke here just after you won the Cage Warriors title, and we were kind of saying, is it going to be the UFC next? And, you know, I was saying, a lot of people are saying that, Jesus, you need a little bit more experience before you get there. And look, it's not that showed. Like, I've said this before, but I think if you fought Yanis, you would have blown him out the water, you know.
It's like a day one, and I'm going to go back to fighting a guy with like 10 pro fights. I'm going to fucking steamroll him. I know I am. I'm going to be so much better than I was. I'm going to be so much better. But like Cage Warriors, like I'm not going to go. I'm happy it didn't happen. I don't go back to Cage Warriors and fucking smoke some shit English UK guy with like got 6-7 pro fights. I don't even count that as experience anymore. I trained with so-called best guys all over in this camp, all over the UK, and nobody gave me a competitive round. So I'm happy that didn't happen. I'm a UFC level guy, and fuck it, put 2 or 3 to get win together now. I'll be flying again. It's not just I'm in no position to be calling anybody or doing any calling the shots. Just take what I'm giving now, lad, and get to the gym and get better, isn't it? get a fucking win.
That's it. Although I don't know about not in the position to call people out. Like I feel like you put on a good performance and you know, talk shit coming in and it worked. That was kind of one of the last questions I was going to ask you. What do you think is next? Like obviously you're still recovering and all, so you're not going to be fighting in the next few weeks or anything like that. But is there anyone kind of on the radar or anything that you wouldn't mind to fight? Obviously there's these rumours of the Dublin card, but that might be a good few months away. Maybe you'll be able to get one in before that. Is there anything you kind of have in mind?
Still the same guys. I still want to fight. I believe I had a fuck Cameron saying like I was going to call him out. But he want to know on a big win. These younger guys like Roast and stuff. But I don't know, lad. They'll probably have to give me someone on loss now, will they? I probably won't fight somebody winning. Well, I don't know what way it works. I want to fight in December. It's weird because you've got stuff to do in the gym. Obviously, me and my coach, I have to work, I have to get better. But I can't have the world thinking that's where I'm at. So it's like I need a fight, but I have to train. So it's I guess what's better to do? I don't know. I want to fight in December though. Absolutely want to fight in December. Get back out. My plan was to go on that December pay-per-view. I'll not be on a pay-per-view now with 0-1, but I don't know what the schedule is. But I definitely have to fight this year. The 1,000,000%.
All right, Caolan, really appreciate the time. Thanks very much for it, and continue to talk that shit. I think everyone enjoyed it. Like,
I don't get less. People goes to me, "You're humble now." I was like, "I'm not fuck humble now. What are you talking about?" No, lad, nothing changes. Just we bit more motivated, maybe. So maybe not a bad thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I appreciate you talking. It's absolutely not easy after losing, especially in the UFC debut. So I'm looking forward to the next one. Looking forward to seeing you getting the hand raise in there next time out.
Fuck, I hope so.
Thanks so much, Caolan. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.